joint, it's like the elbow joint. It closes and it opens. It's not really meant to rotate. It's not meant to be turned in any directions or getting even off track. So what happens below and above the knee really controls the knee. So there's this concept called the joint by joint rule. Every joint of the human body, and you basically give it a stability role and a mobility role. So if I can get you guys to just stand up for just 1 second, feel that big toe. Do you have full range of motion there?
Define range of motion.
I mean like 90 degrees range of motion. Okay, so that, sticking with this joint by joint concept, the first mobile joint of the body is the big toe. Oh, so the first exercise you're going to learn with me is just doing this every day. And then another thing is doing the opposite. So if I were to take off my shoes here for a second, you know, I would want the opposite. So maybe you have a routine that you do in the morning is you spend time here and you spend time here, because that big toe needs to be mobile. So I'll continue on with this joint by joint concept. So the big toe we know needs to be mobile. And then if we look at the foot itself and we go through a process called pronation, where there's this natural rolling of the foot. And that's made so we can be on all sorts of different terrain and still have stability. I view the foot as this tripod. So I want you to think of your big toe as a point of contact. I want you to think of your pinky toe as a point of contact, and then your heel, creating a tripod. So we're going to squat like this. We're going to lunge like this. We're going to do anything where you need to balance and be on one foot. So just do this for a second, even if you just want to be on one foot for a while. Focus on this tripod concept in your mind while you're on this single foot. Notice how it's so much easier to maintain balance if you visualize the tripod. And this to me has just been very useful in squatting, lunging, single leg anything, landing. I want to achieve tripod as fast as I can because I know I'm going to be balanced. I'm not going to have too much on my toes. I'm not going to have too much on my heels. I'm not going to be on the outsides. I'm going to be centered quickly. So now if we move up one joint, we're talking the ankle joint. So we got big toe mobility. We got stability at the foot. And now we're back to mobility. It always goes mobile, stable, all the way up the body. Mobile toes, stable foot. Your ankles need to be mobile. So you need to train it like that. You need to train that joint to be mobile. The knee joint is a stable joint. Like I said, it opens and closes. The knee never does anything without the hip telling it to do what it did. The foot's got a plant, but then the hip decides this rotation on where it should be. Each at the 3 Ps. What pattern are we doing? We're doing the squat pattern. What position do you need to be in for your best squat, and what posture do you need to adopt? So what's the pattern? What's the position? And then what's the posture that you need to adopt? I want you to get in your best squat stance. Kind of like the same position that you would get in if you were just going to sit in a chair. But I want you to imagine that the load is on your back. Not a barbell, so you don't have to do this or anything, but just the load is on your spine. Okay? And I want you to squat all the way down, and I just want you to get to the spot where you start to feel kind of first resistance or tightness. Stop there. Okay? Okay? Stop there. All right, and then come on back up. All right, now we're going to do it with the hands overhead. Now this changes kind of the vector. This kind of changes the fulcrum, if you will, on position. Good squat stance again, and now come all the way down and hold where you may. Things changed all of a sudden, didn't it? Like all of a sudden, everything's different when you just change this one position, right? This time, we're going to go feet straight ahead. Now I know that this might be the ideal squat position for a lot of you, is kind of turning out. But for this drill, we're going to go feet square ahead, or straight ahead. Then we're going to go arms up overhead just like this, and then we're going to squat down just a little bit below a chair, okay? And I want you to observe what happened. I think it's better to get out on this surface rather than the mat. So let's do this with a pair up. Let's pair up, and I want your partner to watch the feet, the ankles, and the knee. Go ahead. The feet, ankles, and knee. What happened? Did they turn out? Did the foot flatten? Did the knees go in? What I'm trying to get you to observe is, number one, do my feet want to turn out? Why would my feet want to turn out? Well, the feet want to turn out because they're trying to gain mobility. You're trying to gain space. It doesn't have the dorsiflexion or the flexion at the ankle, this. So it finds another way. Your body's smart. It finds a way to do what you want it to do, so it turns it out to give it some room. But the next thing is, did your foot flattened? And a typical, if the feet want to kind of come out, the next option that your body will do is it'll give up its foot stability. I talked about that. So it'll go not only turn out, and then it will flatten the foot. The ankle will draw in. This whole tibia right here will roll in and flatten. And you have a foot because it's trying to give you more space. Okay, so this is the clear example of this person's missing ankle range of motion, missing mobility at the ankle. So those are the two options that the foot does. It's like, okay, we can flatten, we can turn out. You're still going to do this thing to me, so I got to find options because I'm missing it here. So then the next thing that might happen is kind of the knees come in, and that's more of a strength issue. We're going to pretend that this is a wall, okay? And this wall continues all the way up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my hands from my thumb to my other side. So this is the distance. We'll just say this is 5.5 inches. So if we were in a clinical setting, I would set it up for men at 5.5 and women at 4.5. So I take my wall and I just take one of my hands and I'm going to put a foot right up to that mark. And I want to have at least one of my hands ankle range of mobility before my heel comes up off the ground. So the test is over when the heel comes off the ground. So I'm going to be here in half kneeling. I'm 4.5 or 5.5 inches away. I'm going to go, 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 and can I make it to the wall without my heel coming up? I'm just there, okay, with one of my hands. So that's at least where we want to be. Then we want to do it standing as well. So can I get there? And I can. Okay, without the heel coming up off the ground. Because when the heel comes up off the ground, that's just a clear sign that your calves are tight, your ankle's tight, and all that. So whether you want to grab the fake wall, find a wall, if you want to squat better, now these two, this is made to improve a person's squat, but these little angle boards work out really well to give me just like a little wedge where I can just get down and squat really easy versus being here. So anytime I can elevate my heel, I really take away the ankle's role. And this is why you will see people that wear Olympic lifting shoes. So like a really high heel back and then a really thin piece of, just rubber down here. So the whole shoe kind of sits like this, right? And that makes for a really good squatting shoe. What are the most important mobilizations that I can do with tissue and then go do my workout or go do my thing? I think that's the big takeaway for all of you is like, how can I shrink this down to X amount of time per day doing X mobility drills and then go do my thing? And over time, I get better, all right? I think that's what you all want. And if you're one of those people that have big toe tightness, try and focus kind of up on this sector right here, right up through here. This is going to be your little spot that you don't like me or something. So just roll up through there. And this is a good best practice for runners, for anybody that does any physical movement, but it also helps the lymphatic system. which is your body's drainage system. And it just turns on the body a little bit with getting some blood flow, okay? And have you ever noticed that certain spots of your body heal faster than others? Like, I heal that quick, but I don't seem to heal this at all. Well, it's blood flow a lot of times. So sometimes, so let's get both feet. If you haven't switched feet, let's go ahead and switch. And then while you guys are finishing up with the feet, I'm going to demonstrate how I would want you to do this next one. So this next one will be on the floor for this, but you could be like I am. You're going to take your lacrosse ball, and if this is my shin bone right here, I want to be on the inside of my shin bone, and I'm going to take this ball, and I'm really going to start, if this is the ball of my ankle, I'm going to start basically right here and work my way up to my knee on the inside, right up here of my shin. Okay, so what it would look like on the floor would be like this. And I'm just gonna kind of look for any little tissue that's tight, and I found a tight spot right here. So what do? Add more pressure, move my ankle back and forth, and just, look, there's no real sexy way to put this. It's just, it's work. You only have a foam roller at home. This would be my methodology on the foam roller. Number one, like the lacrosse ball, I'm trying to create force and a little bit of deep tissue feel on these tight tissues of the lower extremity. So this is why I stack the leg. So when I'm in the foam roller scenario, I want to create weight down on the calf that I'm rolling, and this technique works the best for me. Is I'll basically start with the ankle and I'll go back and forth. So the muscles run this way and the foam roller's this way. I'm going to create weight with my foot, and I'm going to go all the way up to my knee, going back and forth just like this. So now I'm behind my knee, and now I make my way all the way down, all right? And it is effective, and it's quick. So that's technique number one. Technique number two is you find a spot. Ooh, I found my trigger point. Now, the leg that's being mobilized, I try and point it, I try and pull it, I do a circle with it this way, and a circle with it this way when I'm loaded with this leg. So again, I find my spot, I point, I pull, I do a big circle, I do a circle the other way, and then go find another spot with technique one. These two techniques work the best. Okay, so have fun with the foam roller. Don't skip this stuff, because as an aging athlete, this is the stuff that just keeps you moving. All right, age less athlete. So I want you to get in your best squat stance, and I want you to go down until you feel like you're getting out of alignment. So this is another lesson. Even if I had load on my back, and even if I was trying to get strong with some type of external force, I would still want my client athlete to only go down to where they were in perfect alignment, and then maybe a half an inch. You know, so for an example is, I'm good, and all of a sudden I fall apart. Okay, for that person, I would be like, I'm good, I'm starting to fall apart. Okay, we're gonna train an inch above where you fall apart, and that's your new range of motion, and that's how we're gonna get you strong. So for this exercise, what I want you to do is go down until you feel like you're in good alignment for whatever 3Ps exercise we're in. We're just talking about the squat, and now just hold for 5 seconds where you think you're in alignment, you're good. Now we're gonna get strong in that position. This is going to focus largely on your tissues that are bothering you in the first place, which we just tested for. So the reason why it's getting hard there is because my ankles are tight, my knees are tight, my hips are tight, but you gotta build resilience there. And the only way you can build resilience is time. You gotta spend, and there's protocols, there's all sorts of strength training models out there. So now let's try another pattern. So this is our lunge pattern. If you needed to, you could grab a foam roller, and you could have maybe not a foam roller, but maybe one of these. And I'm just going to lunge down to where I feel challenged. Okay, let's just say this is challenged. Now I'm going to spend 5 seconds here and then come up. And maybe it's 10 seconds. But find the position where you're challenged, but yet you're in good alignment, and now hold there. Hold at that bottom position. You know what we're doing here? We're training the tissues. You're training the joint. You're training the ligaments, the tendons to say, you're okay. We're going to get strong here. Yeah?
What if your knee hurts too much?
So then you would just back off. You would just go down to the spot in which you can. And that, I'm going to show a video that's going to kind of complement what I just said there. You would go down to where you start to initially feel that pain, and then back off a 1/4 inch.
So it
And that kind of becomes. So while I'm talking about it, I'll.
Very simple. It's called the touchdown. Now, here's how it's performed. It's a single leg squat. We're going to start on one plate. Now, Darren's going to get right in the center of the plate. And how you perform this exercise means everything. Now, Darren's going to obviously start barefoot. And the reason for this is I want you to feel for your flexibility. A lot of issues that create pain up here stem all the way down from the feet. And if you're always in your shoes, you may not realize that you're having a problem in flexibility and your foot's waving around. So being out of your shoes is key. Now from here, the motion starts at the hips. So you're going to get in single leg stance. You're going to hinge your hips, chest or butt back, chest forward, squat down, tap your heel. You're actually going to tap right there and then back up. Now one more, just so we can see. Hips back, chest forward, tap down, back up. If you have knee pain, and you drive your knee forward. So if you have knee pain, I want you to try this at home. Drive your knee forward at the very start. So start this very knee dominant. This motion of driving your knee forward, I don't care what type of knee pain you have, this often will recreate and make it worse. All you're going to do is make this very hip dominant and see, does that change your pain? So you're going to not allow forward knee travel. Your knee's still going to bend, it's just not going to move forward. Butt back, chest forward, chest forward. Very good. And then back up. So do that one more time. So we're going to make this a very hip dominant movement. So as hips go back, chest comes forward, squat down, tap, and back up. At home, if you found that on this very tiny box or plate, if you had that knee drive forward and it created knee pain, and then you made it very hip dominant and it minimized your knee pain like crazy or took it away, this exercise alone in the progression that I'm going to show you will be helpful at decreasing your pain and building back that resiliency to do everything that you want to do pain-free. So the cue of making it hip dominant just shifts torque from the knee to the hip. The quads, the hamstrings, all the muscles of the lower leg are working very hard. They're not just turning off. We're just shifting where the amount of torque is being generated or how much torque is being generated, and we're minimizing shear force that right now is irritating many knees. I've seen plenty knees that are extremely irritated. In my first day of physical therapy with them, I teach them how to perform a touchdown and put this in almost day one with everyone. So again, butt back, chest forward, tap that heel down right here, and back up. If you're still in pain, make it even more hip dominant. And what we're going to do, let's look at this from the side so people can see. Okay? So, stand tall, single leg, hips back, chest forward, almost like you're making this into an RDL early on. That's how hip dominant I want it to be. Tapping down and then back up. One of the cues I like to use is tap the eggshell with your heel. Don't break the eggshell. Now, first, if having that foot come forward is a little too tough, it's okay to let that trail leg come back a little bit, but make sure that your pelvis is still level. All we do, jump off that real quick, as you get better with this, you're just going to build up the height.
All right, so what are some exercises that help strengthen up the hip? Because a lot of times we look at when the hips really control what the knee does. I mean, if you just step forward, the hip had to do that. The hip is moving first, even in locomotion. The hip is, now the foot then gets that chance to hit the ground, and the ankle says, okay, the surface is a little bit off, so my ankle's gonna move in a way where I can still keep you balanced. You know what I mean, on any surface. So the foot automatically hits, we make calculations, and then where does the knee have to be for me to be strong up top? So get in a split stance once, a wide split stance, and just have your knee out and have your knee in, and notice how your foot and your foot arch either collapse or your arch gets bigger. You know, your ankle has a lot to do with how strong you feel. And I'm glad that we have a lot of play there. Like, just try and move your knee as far out as you can, but keep your big toe planted into the ground. Still kind of carry that tripod that I was talking about earlier. Like, keep big toe pressure, and now move your knee out as far as you can. Keep big toe pressure and keep and put your foot in, or your knee in as far as you can. Do you see where there's a position in there where your body says, I'm not very strong here. I better go back to the middle. It's always the middle. But when we run into asymmetries, and we checked that earlier on the ground with all those mobility tests, you have the more mobile you can be, the better off. But the ballerina, her problem is lack of stability. Super mobile, not that strong. The football player, he's super strong, but he lacks mobility. So somewhere in the middle is like this, is where you really want to be. I mean, too strong, you're going to be stiff. Too mobile, you're going to be unstable. I think you guys are old enough that you have heard over time that the knee is never supposed to go over the toe. And that has been just debunked so many different times in our industry that I don't know why we started saying that. The knee can't be over the toe. I think it sounded good for people that had bad knees.
Guys making a lot of money on that.
No kidding, yeah. Get in that split stance for a second, okay? Now, if you can get to the point where you can actually reach down and feel this muscle, this anterior tibialis, notice how it's on right now. Like, keep moving forward until you feel like, yeah, that's flexed, that's on. You feel it? You feel it kind of ignite? That's your brakes. That muscle, that lower, I mean, we rarely talk about calves in the gym. It's always like, well, we just talk about the movement or the bigger muscles, but we rarely talk about how important the calves are. Well, that'd be like saying, how not important are your forearms? Because your forearm is literally your calf, and your bicep is your quads, okay? And your hamstrings are your tricep. They do the same thing, okay? I'm like, curl, same joint, right? So I want to get good at this motion. If I was going to get strong anywhere, just make a program. This would be the movement I would want to get strong in, right? Just from a global, because then it would present me to do all these other movements. So I'll show this quick video, but if you're going to get a takeaway on training the knees, is really building up that split stance squat, walking backwards, and the tibialis.
Without any equipment, you can start improving bad knees right now. Step 1, 10-minute walk, but backward. And if you use a treadmill, make sure it's not turned on. Then 25 tibialis raises. This does not directly strengthen the knee. It strengthens this muscle that goes from below the knee to the inside of the foot. That gets weaker when we stop slamming force into the knee. So bolstering it gives us a better chance to heal and return to activities without being as vulnerable. Finish your 10 minutes, your 25 reps. You just put money in the bank for areas that may have been decaying for years. And you improve your chances of regaining pain-free positions and eventually range of motion. So that zero program helped thousands of us get back to the activities we love. Then, through further gathering of data, I've established standards such as 20% of your body weight for 15 strict reps. That's not perfect. It's a guide where no guide existed. So for me, it's really simple. Same knee without a route, surgeries, painkiller addiction, icing my knees 4 times just to get through the day and having to give up my sport. Same knee after not having to do anything for treatment. 10 years without a setback. Achieved my lifelong dream of dunking, and when I play basketball, it feels like I'm dreaming because it feels so good. So I get overly enthusiastic, but
He's 46 years old, by the way.
So you do that once a day? Or?
He does it every time he comes in the gym. And I think if an intelligent coach was programming for you, they would look at the individual first, number one. I don't like blanket programs of anything because it never really looks at the individual. If I write a program and I just hand it out all to you, there's going to be this thing called volume where it might meet you perfectly, but the other person's like, that wasn't that hard. So there's got to be an individual approach always to program design. And this is why I'm such a big person with the movement test. I want to make sure that I'm giving the right exercise for the person. You know, asymmetries and muscle balance is a really, really important thing. Like, for example, if my arms are super big here, but then they're like really, I mean, this is the same conversation we could have right here. I mean, if you look at your quads in the mirror and you're like, okay, they look pretty strong, but take a look at those hamstrings. And you know, just looking at things is one thing, but how about performance? You know, do a test. You know, like get on a hamstring curl machine and see what you can do, and then get on a leg extension machine and see what you can do. And look at those two numbers. If they are way off in pounds, like, hey, you're gonna do max 5 reps extension, max 5 reps curl. Look at those two numbers. If those are way off, you got a muscle imbalance, right? And this would be the same conversation here. This would be the same conversation here and here, right? But we are this 3-dimensional, you know, we move in all these planes of motion. So it kind of depends on you. It kind of depends on what you want to do, what look you're going for, what performance value you're going for. So when it comes to the knees, it's a pretty simple joint. The big takeaway is in alignment. Are you in alignment, and do you have muscle symmetry? And the things that I have found to make the biggest impact is keeping the ankles nice and mobile, always as a standard, and keeping your hips mobile as a standard. Strength is going to come and go. Now, if you have that big, you know, strength difference between quads and hamstrings, you already know what you should be doing. But worry about patterns over the muscles. The muscles will do their job when the joints work good. I can't say that enough. Move for the joints. The muscles will do their work. And I'm just going to end with that.